Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Pavakara Dalita Hiranyakashipu Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narsinghadev 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 Jaya Narsinghadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Nithai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nithai Gaur Hari Bol One more Nithai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nithai Gaur Hari Bol Shri Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai. Hare Krishna, thank you for attending today's Rajbhog Aarti. Now the schedule is, we will have a Bhagavad Gita class. So if you like, you can stay seated and hear some Krishna Katha. And also prasadam will be served in the Haveli out there. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. You do this. You do. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Giridharadhari Jaya Gopinava Giridharadhari Giridhavallabha Giridharadhari Jaya Gopijanavallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Amunatira Vanachai Amunatira Vanachai Amunatira Vanachai Jaya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Jaya Radha Gopina Nanda Radha Gopina Nanda Radha Jaya Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshmana Jaya Goranitai Jaya Goranitai Jaya Goranitai Jaya Nitya Gaur Haribo, Gaur Pramanande, Hari Haribo, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll be having a lecture by Sadanandini on nectar of instruction. So if I can request everybody just to kind of face her, and if you can give her your full attention, and I'm sure she's going to share something really amazing from these spiritual ancient books on the topics of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Very welcome, everyone. We are now starting reading from the book Nectar of Instructions. Do you know about this book? Nectar of Instructions? Yeah, you know. You know who's the author? Who has written the book? Rupa Goswami, Shri Rupa Goswami. Yes, that's right. Today we're doing part of the text 2 from Nectar of Instruction. Before we read the verse, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Shri Rupa Goswami, and then we will read the book. Have you heard about Shri Rupa Goswami? No, you haven't. You have. Okay. Shri Rupa Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. And they were the direct disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Do you know about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Yes, you've heard? Yes. In the beginning of the book, on the preface, Prabhupada tells us a little bit about both Sri Rupa Goswami and Lord Chaitanya. In fact, you know why Sri Rupa Goswami is so well? All the Goswamis are important for us, but in particular, Sri Rupa Goswami. Well, he was the leader of the Goswamis, but also we are known as Rupanukas. Yeah? We are followers of Rupa Goswami, and he wrote many books, which Prabhupada translated for us and wrote purport. But all his books are the instructions or lessons and instruction from Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya, in fact, our main teachings are from Lord Chaitanya, but he wrote only 8 verses, Shikshastikam, yes? That's what he wrote. But all the other lessons and instructions, Lord Chaitanya gave it to the 6 Goswamis, and they wrote all Lord Chaitanya's instructions, especially Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sanata Goswami. So Prabhupada writes in the preface, the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Sri Rupa Goswami. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas are mostly followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of whom the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan are direct disciples. And then he continues, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted to give us Krishna, right? He wanted us to know about Krishna, and especially all his activities, and especially all his pastimes in Vrindavan with the gopis. But he appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani. But in order to understand Chaitanya, we have to understand Lord Chaitanya's mission, and we have to follow his instructions. And in order to follow Lord Chaitanya's instructions, we have to follow the 6 Goswamis' instructions. And Sri Rupa Goswami, as I mentioned, he was the leader of all the Goswamis. And to guide our activities, he gave us this book, Upadesamrita, the Nectar of Instructions. This is actually, it's a very small book, but it's the beginning, of our all spiritual path. It's mainly, as it says, instructions. It tells us all the do's and don'ts, but it's a nectar, It's but in any spiritual path, the first duty is to be able to control the mind and the senses. If we cannot do that, any spiritual path, has no value. And this book especially, and especially in particular the first 2 verses, tells us how to control the senses and how to control the mind, and tells us the benefits of it, and the difficulties if we don't do that. So when that's actually, it's not controlling the mind and senses. It's not something spiritual, but in order to, in anything, even in material life, if you want to be successful in material life, controlling the senses and the mind is very important, isn't it? What to speak of a spiritual path. So advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. A follower of the Krishna consciousness movement should become a perfect Goswami. So Goswami is not only for 6 Goswamis or those sannyasis. Each of us, Prabhupada says, each of us has to become Goswamis. Do you know the meaning of Goswami? You know the meaning of Goswami? Okay. Swami, you know the meaning of Swami? Master. Yes, master. And Go has 2 different meanings. One we see here in the temple, Goshala, right? The place for the cows. So that's one meaning of the Go. But another meaning of the Go? Senses. Yes. Here, Goswami means master of the senses. So Srila Prabhupada, through this book, wanted us, all of us, to become Goswamis, to become master of the senses. What does that mean? Rather than allowing the senses to tell us what to do, right? We all experience that. The eyes want something, the tongue wants something, the ears want something else, the hands, they all say, oh, give me that, I want this, I want that. Yeah, it's like children. Yeah, like children. But again, like children, if they are controlled, if they are disciplined and controlled, they are the best friends. But if they are uncontrolled and they going on and I want this, I want that, give me this, give me that, and don't listen to you, then they become the worst of the enemies, isn't it? Yes? So, but senses, they have to be happy and satisfied, but not so wildly. Like wild horses, one goes this direction, one goes that direction, one goes another direction. You never get into your destination. But if all the senses are under the control of the driver, which is the mind, right, and they all follow the path that we want them to follow, so we get to the destination. So that's about the book, and it's about Rupa Goswami. Now I will read verse 2, the Sanskrit and the translation, and only a small part of the purport. I go through it. We will discuss only one part of the verse, and then we can try together to understand it. Atyahara prayasascha. Do you have it? Do you have it? Well, if you want to check it on your phone, it's Nectar of Instruction, verse 2. Maybe I read word by word and you can repeat. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha Jnana sangascha lulyamcha sadbir bhaktir vinashyati. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha Jnana sangascha lulyamcha sanyascha lulyamcha sadbir bhaktir vinashyati. You're doing great. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha Jnana sangascha lulyamcha sadbir bhaktir vinashyati. We try once more. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha Jnana sangascha lulyamcha sadbir bhaktir vinashyati. Translation. One's devotional service. Okay, I read the word by word, sorry. Atyahara, overeating, or too much collecting. Prayasha, over endeavoring. Cha and. Prajalpa, idle talking. Niyama, rules and regulations. Agraha, too much attachment to or agraha, too much neglect of. Jnana sangha, association with worldly minded persons. Cha and lulyam, ardent longing or greed. Cha and sadbihi, by these 6. Bhakti, devotional service. Vinashyati, is destroyed. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. 1. Eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. 2. Over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. 3. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4. Practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5. Associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6. Being greedy for mundane achievements. Well, you already understood, the verse is telling us 6 items which, is it good for devotional service or is it not good? Is it not good for the devotional service? In fact, this is following the first verse. The first verse is telling us that about controlling the senses. The tongue, the belly, the genitals, these all have to be, controlled. And if they are not controlled, then these will happen. Overeating, over-endeavoring, collecting too much, talking prajalpa, talking nonsense, all that will follow with not controlling the senses. But, so it's the result of it. So this result, if we do atyahara, which is eating too much or collecting more than we need. Prayashash, over-endeavoring for mundane things which are difficult to obtain. Prajalpa, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. Then niyamagraha, practicing the scriptural rules without knowing why we're doing it, or completely neglecting and not doing any rules and regulations. Both of them are niyamagraha, and they're not good for for bhakti. And then jnana sanghas, associating with worldly minded people, and lulyam, greedy for mundane achievements. So these were spoken in previous weeks. A lot of it were spoken previous weeks. Were you here? Were you here last Sunday? Yes? You remember this? Okay. So so today I'm reading just a short part of the purport, which in fact it touches on the first item again. I know that the first item at Yahara was spoken about it, eating too much and collecting too much, but the part of the purport which I'm reading, which is in page, let me find it again. I tell you later the page, but it comes later in the purport. But it kind of, in some way, it goes back on the subject of Atyahara. So I read the purport, which we are going to discuss, and then I do a short prayer to ask all the acharyas to help me in speaking something useful today, and then we will discuss that. So, the purport says, modern warfare waged between capitalists and communists is due to their avoiding the advice of Sri Rupa Goswami regarding Atyahara. Modern capitalists accumulate more wealth than necessary, and the communists, envious of their prosperity, want to nationalize all wealth and property. Unfortunately, the communists do not know how to solve the problem of wealth and its distribution. Consequently, when the wealth of the capitalists falls into the hands of the communists, no solution results. Opposed to these two philosophies, the Krishna conscious ideology states that all wealth belongs to Krishna. Thus, unless all wealth comes under the administration of Krishna, there can be no solution to the economic problem of mankind. Nothing can be solved by placing wealth in the hands of the communists or the capitalists. If $100 bill is lying on the street, someone may pick it up and put it in his pocket. Such a man is not honest. Another man may see the money and decide to let it remain there, thinking that he should not touch another's property. Although this second man does not steal the money for his own purposes, he is unaware of its proper use. The third man who sees the $100 bill may pick it up and find the man who lost it and deliver it to him. This man does not steal the money to spend for himself, nor does he neglect it and let it lie in the street. By taking it and delivering it to the man who has lost, this man is both honest and wise. Similarly, transferring wealth from capitalists to communists cannot solve the problem of modern politics, for it has been demonstrated that when a communist gets money, he uses it for his own sense gratification. The wealth of the world actually belongs to Krishna, and every living entity, man and animal, has the birthright to use God's property for his maintenance. When one takes more than his maintenance requires, be he a capitalist or a communist, he is a thief. And as such, he is liable to be punished by the laws of nature. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Vishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we're talking about Atyahara. Yes, this is actually the first item, which is an impediment on our bhakti in our spiritual path. And first part, yeah, Hare Krishna. At Yahara, Prabhupada discussed it, that how it can damage individual persons if we eat too much, if we over-collect. It's kind of common sense, isn't it? Would you eat too much? No, everybody, needs to eat. Even eating too much, even eating too little. In Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 6, there's a lot of guidance in how to be in equilibrium, to take care of our body. Not eating too much, not eating too little. Not sleeping too much, not sleeping too little. It's wise. It makes sense. Yes, but Prabhupada at the same time he gives the example that how much human being kind of they cross over this line. Animals, they don't. They whatever if there's a bag of rice in the street, the bears come and take as much as they need. Then they leave the rest. But human beings, what do? We take the whole bag, put it in the storage. We do like that, and so. But it's damaging, all the nutritionists, all the doctors, they tell us don't eat too much, right? And we know logically, but why do we have so much disease in the body? Diabetics, other disease of eating too much and a disease of not eating enough. We get it, right? Because we lose our logic in the sense gratification. The senses, as I mentioned, they are so demanding. They need to be under control. So, and it's the same with collecting too much. Both are at Yahara. Okay, whatever is in our karma, whatever is in our quota, we receive it as a gift from God, not even a gift as the borrowing. Krishna is lending to us, and we accept that, not with too much endeavor. We should not make too much endeavor in collecting. But if the wealth and the money comes easily, okay. We thank God and we accept it. I hope all of you become prosperous, and wealthy. But always remember who is the main proprietor. All the wealth that we receive, originally it belongs to God. So we are borrowing. Whether we have little or we have too much, we are borrowing from the Lord. So if you borrow some money, you use it wisely, don't you? Because you have to, if somebody says, okay, use my money, you have to answer to that person. You have to explain to that person what you used it for, why you used it. So it's the same. We are borrowing God's wealth, God's properties. So we have to use it in such a way which is pleasing to the Lord. We all have to work. We all have to maintain our body, our family, and Krishna. In fact, He provides for all the living entities. Is any animal being? Do you know any animals who is starving or who is, in poverty? You don't see any animals in poverty unless, they are they have an owner which neglects them. But generally in nature, everybody, all the animals are fed. So if Krishna provides for all the animals, why not for us? Okay, so remember that. But if through our karma, through our quota, we receive a lot of wealth, we should always remember who it belongs to. So that's for individuals. But here Prabhupada also expands this mistake that we make, collecting, too much, and using for sense gratification, he expands it to the society and to the political system as well. Of course, when Prabhupada wrote this book, that was the time of, this war between West and East, between capitalists and communists. They all wanted to destroy each other. They all thought that the other side is an enemy. So what was the difference between them? The capitalists, all the capitalist countries, they were collecting too much, making a lot of endeavors, great investments, occupying other countries to get their wealth. Yes, you all know, maybe still, and it still goes on. And the other side were communists, who they wanted not to do anything, just to nationalize everything and, use everything to be equally distributed. Of course, the idea is good, but it never materialized, but also it's, as Prabhupada mentions in his purport, they also, even in the communist countries, they also use whatever they had, they still used it for sense gratification. So both of them, the capitalist and communist, they ended up doing the same thing. It looked different. When there was a lot of wealth, it went towards, creating slaughterhouses, brothels, gambling houses, all that. The communists, maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't have these things, but still, their mind was only on, okay, what am I going to eat? How am I going to enjoy myself? Yes, so both sides, the main purpose was sense gratification. And so then Prabhupada gives the example of, if you find some money in the street, what would you do with that money? There are three options. One person sees the money and picks it up, puts it in his pocket, and use it for himself, right? And that's kind of, Prabhupada in some way equivalents it to the capitalists, who took the money, whether it was from nature, all the wealth from nature, or from other countries, or in different means, and kept it for themselves, and didn't share it with the the rest of the population. And the other person sees the money in the street, says, well, it's not my money, I should not touch it, right? And then ignores it, leaves the money on the ground and walks away. Okay, this person in some way is honest, has not stolen the money, but Prabhupada says this person is not wise. Is not wise. Yeah, this money, okay, it doesn't belong to him, but if it's left on the ground, it will be wasted, right? It may be destroyed, or somebody else comes and steals it. So if he sees it, what he does. So what is the third option of an honest, wise person? The third option that Prabhupada explained is to take the money and brings it to the owner of the money, right? Tries to find, okay, who lost the money, and gives it to that person. Hopefully that person is looking for his money or may have made a note at reception But anyway, we may not find the actual person, but there are so many ways, to give it to the reception, to give it to the police, to advertise it. Oh, I found that much money, or somebody might say, we don't know. People might falsely claim the money. So you can put it nicely that, okay, I found some money. If you have lost, contact this number, and you can ask the person, okay, how much was it? Where did you lose it? Get some indications that, okay, this is the real owner. But anyway, in real life, we know who is the real owner of everything that we have, right? Who is the real owner? Krishna is the real owner. If it wasn't for him creating this material world, there wouldn't be all this wealth. There wouldn't be this beautiful place. Okay, there's a lot of problems, but there are a lot of good things, right? So we are here. In some way, we are here to enjoy, but in some way, we're not here to enjoy, right? He said, okay, you want to enjoy, here you go, but you won't be permanently happy. We will be sometimes happy, but most of the time not happy. Yeah, it's always up and down, up and down. It's like a football match. Yeah, a goal, we score a goal, and everybody hooray, and then we go depressed again, waiting for the next goal. This is the nature of material world. But whatever we have in this world is through our karma. Okay, we do good activities to have a better karma is good, but ultimately it still goes up and down, up and down. So what is the solution that all these books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Nectar of Instructions teaches us? Remember who is the boss, who is the main proprietor of everything. And whatever we have in this life, whatever is our quota, whatever is in our karma, we try to finish our karma in this world and go back to the spiritual world. How we can finish our karma? Okay, sometimes, the difficulties and pains we have, we hear that will clear our karma. That is true. But what about the happiness and the good activities that we have? If we are rich, if we are wealthy, if we are beautiful, if we are strong, how we can. This is also as a result of our good karma. Good or bad karma brings us back to the material world. So we want to finish with, definitely we want to finish with the bad karma, but we also want to finish with the good karma. So how we can finish with the good karma? Sorry? Saving? Training our mind. Definitely, training our mind, as mentioned in the beginning, taming. It's the same thing. We tame our mind, we train our mind, we try to control the mind.
The difference is taming is you surrender.
Oh.
Training, you are trying to train.
Very nice, thank you. You're saying taming the mind is more in the direction of Krishna consciousness because you are surrendering to Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's a very good point. Exactly. With surrendering to Krishna, that will finish all our karma, good or bad. We still continue whatever we do in our life. We have family, we study, work, any entertainment, any activities we do, we continue doing that. But remember Krishna, remember what he wants us to do, remember what pleases him, and through our family, through our study, through our occupation, whatever we do it to please Krishna. And pleasing Krishna is surrendering to Krishna. Surrendering, what does surrender mean? Letting go of everything. Okay, not to be attached to. We may have so many things, but if Krishna, one way of letting go is just to, just give up everything, become a sannyasi, and just do, all the activities for Krishna. This is one way of letting go. The other way is that to use whatever we have in the service of Krishna. So, going back to the example that Prabhupada gave us, the money which was found, we pick up the money and bring it back to the owner. If we find the owner, the actual owner, that's great. You just give it to him. In our case, it's Krishna. We can give donations to Krishna. But also, we can use that wealth, that money, to please Krishna. Bringing up Krishna conscious children, chanting the Maha Mantra with the family, reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, with the family. And it could be done in a very big opulent house or in a small house, doesn't matter. Krishna is pleased when we chant his name, when we read his books, when we offer our food to Krishna. Yes, in any activity, when we remember Krishna, then he is pleased. Today, you all came here. Some of you maybe live close, some of you maybe live far away. But you had to spend some money, you had to spend your time, most of you came with your family, yes? So that all requires some Lakshmi, to do these activities. So by coming to the temple, you could have gone so many other places. By coming to the temple, you pleased Krishna. So you used that money that Krishna has given you, you used it in order to please the Lord. Right? More than that, when you come to the temple, you took part in the kirtan. Yes, you were chanting Lord's name. You all know the Maha Mantra? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chanting his name is one thing is most pleasing to the Lord. And you can do it coming to the temple, you can do it at home, you can do it at work, you can do it while driving, you can do it while walking. So that helps us to remember Krishna. Of course, it purifies our heart from all the contaminations, all the attachments we have accumulated, but also helps us to remember Krishna. And Krishna reassures us, at the time of death, if we remember Krishna, we go back to the spiritual world. So by repeating, by chanting his name, we all remember the songs which are sung a lot, on the radio, or the things that we hear a lot. It comes to our mind easily. So if we hear the Maha Mantra a lot, then it easily comes to our mind when we really need to hear that. So that's it. So by using the money that Krishna has entrusted to us, we can we use it in his service. We can avoid atyahara. We can avoid collecting too much. We can and even about eating too much. if we offer the food to Krishna, first of all, we try to be vegetarian. Well, all the devotees of Krishna are vegetarian. If you're not, please consider it. Please try. To become vegetarian is one way to control the tongue and the belly. Because in all those who eat meat, it's mainly for the taste of it. So if you control your tongue not to eat meat, this is one way of controlling your senses. But also, when you cook, you cook it in order, you're cooking for Krishna. First, learn from Bhagavad Gita what he likes to eat. It's mainly fruit, vegetable, milk, water. That's what he likes to eat. But while cooking, you put all your heart. Think, okay, Krishna. It's like you're cooking for your children. You cook it with love and devotion. So it's the same with Krishna. And then before we don't taste the food while cooking, and then when it's ready, you offer what you have cooked to Krishna before we taste it ourselves. That is also another way of controlling the tongue. And by doing that, this helps. This is like, it's one way of sense control. When we control not to eat certain things, not to taste it, offer it to Krishna first, this helps a lot to control the tongue and the belly. And it helps with atyahara, with not eating too much. And with over-collecting also, if you use it for Krishna, then that will also help with atyahara, with controlling it, and we just use it for Krishna. And that will, when we do all our activities to please Krishna, that will clear all our karma. That is surrendering to Krishna. Thank you very much for staying. If you want to say something or ask something, please do so. Okay. Please enjoy your stay. And if you want to join, well, definitely prasad is available for everybody to eat. But also we have a japa garden. You can go there and chant the Mahamantra. Have you all tried? Who hasn't tried chanting on japa? You all have. You can still do it. Japa is most pleasing and most beneficial also to us when we chant with other devotees. So now that you are here in the temple, please chant japa as much as you can. You can do it in the japa garden, you can do it in the temple. And just come back here as many times as you can. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.